Now, I was looking at some of the classifieds some time ago, and I haven't had time to have a look at this, but this was a for parts or not working model, exactly the same model as the one that I've got. And I found this quite hard to get hold of where I live in the UK, so this one had just come up, and basically they just said it was seized and wouldn't turn, and it came with the electronic foot control, and obviously the power supply is just a simple two-prong supply which is readily available. Now, I've just taken this to pieces and basically found a normal flat screwdriver would do the job. So I've basically kept all of the screws together, okay, in one part. So you've got, for instance, that's the tension, and there's your bobbin there, and there's all the other screws there, okay? Now the light bulb works, and all the parts just came off by turning the machine upside down. I was able to remove this, came from underneath the machine. That's the side plate, okay, the front plate there, and that's obviously where you can put your fabric on for for a larger project. Okay, so I've set belt tension so that when I'm turning with the wheel, this is with the bobbin mechanism engaged, that goes like that, and that's bobbin mechanism engaged. It should turn freely. I'm making sure there's no slippage. Okay, don't know whether this motor works yet. All I do know is I've freed it up from the outside. Didn't take it apart, but it seems to be moved very freely. And when I disengage the bobbin winder, the whole mechanism from the machine, instead of being seized up, it's moving. Can you see that? It's moving very easily. I can turn it by hand. That's what you want. You want to be able to turn this by hand. They're not as easy to turn as old Singers. They would basically turn absolutely. I could literally get them to hand turn, but then they could be driven by a hand wheel anyway, the old ones. But this machine is driven by this motor, so it is going to have resistance because I'm turning the actual armatures of the windings of the motor, aren't I? So, but here, this was seized, and inside all I've done is basically blown as much dust as I can away, and on the mechanism side here I've just put a touch of oil along, proper machine grade oil along, and the pattern stitches, this little armature here comes out, and as you can see as it moves out, there's an armature here which makes the needle position here down the bottom there move. And obviously depending on how you program it, you can see the PCB, the printed circuit board inside there, where you program everything. There's a massive wires, you don't want to be messing around with that, and everything's all plugged off. So we'll have to see how we get on. First switch on now, and I've just put it onto number 1. Number 1 is the letter 1, and all I'm going to do is, without threading it up first, to see if the needle is going to do the correct movements before I actually just thread it up to see if this works. Looks to me like this has cured the problem, because I've got free hand movement on my hand wheel here, as you can see. The motor was basically very, very stiff. I turned the armature, kept turning and turning and turning from the outside, freed the motor up and cleaned it, etc. Program 1, and as you can see it's whirring away, and if I've had it threaded up, that would definitely be tracing out a number 1. Okay, so now I've got pattern number 74, and 74, as you can see from here, is a sort of herringbone pattern. So I'll be looking to see that it feeds this fabric through. There's no thread at the moment. Feeds it through, and that the needle's moving around as if to do the correct pattern before I thread it up. So let's go. Yep, and as you can see, it's feeding the fabric through, slowly feeding the fabric along. Actually, you really should guide it yourself, but that's obviously going to complete the job. And obviously on those patterns like 74, the machine's just going to have to work its way. You're going to have to feed through yourself accurately to get the pattern. So this Sonata is now well and truly fixed. So here we show both Sonatas. This is the one I've just repaired, where the motor was basically seized up, wasn't turning over, and it did need a very good clean inside. There was a lot of fluff and dirt inside here, inside where the bobbin case goes. And I've made a few adjustments. That's the bobbin for adjusting the bobbin winding tension. The other machine here, as you can see here, this is more raised. Here I can obviously get myself another. All I need to get is one of these little metal. I could use a bit of plastic there, just a small ring there on the top. And this one's set to 74 as well. So there you go. So they're both in the same camera shot to show that I have got two machines going, and they're both working. So this was of great help to me. You really do need the manual. It says it's a Singer 2210. They have their own foot pedals. Look out for them around you. And as I say, if you get one that's just not turning over, you may well just be lucky like I was, because I got it off an auction site. And it could be something as simple as a motor fix. Mine didn't really need the motor replacing, it just needed the motor turning over the motor itself from being stuck. Possibly the brushes were stuck on the motor from the armature, because there's like thousands of windings and little carbon brushes. But anyway, I freed it up and it's going beautiful now. Okay, it's a pain in the neck to take it apart. You've got dozens and dozens of little screws, but patience pays off, and the sewing machine light still works. So does this one on my other old Sonata, and these Sonatas make really useful items.